Okay, so this is my 2021 Can-Am Max XT 570. We did a heated rear grip install along with the front grips and the thumb. Here's the parts you're going to need. This one is for the rear. This is a separate harness that you need to make it work. This is the front, and there's the part number for the front. Okay, so I'm going to take it all apart now and I'll show you how we did the install. Okay, so now I got the seat off. Here's how the harness installs in the rear seat. You drill one hole here, one hole there, zap strap the harness in. These wires don't quite seem to be quite long enough to be able to get this out of the way on both sides, but it seems to work because this is actually raised up a bit underneath. So here we go. It is gray to black, red blue to green, and then yellow red to red. Same on this side. Gray to black, green to red blue, red to red yellow. Underneath the seat, these zap straps come with little ribs on them, so you plug them into that hole, plug them into this hole, and this is where the plug goes underneath the seat. Okay, so underneath the seat here, you can see where the wires go in through here. They're color-coded, or numbered I should say, tags on the wires. And the switch itself is numbered, so that's pretty basic. In here I drilled a small hole, used a rubber grommet. Just made it easier to help protect the wires. This side is done the same. This hole here, you will have to drill to about a 1/2 inch diameter to fit that nut in the bottom that comes on the plug for the vest or the heated visor. It's the only way it comes through that hole. Same as on this side, rubber grommet. And we'll continue. So once the seat's off, the air cleaner cover is off, and of course you take the dash off. You still need to pop this pop-up. This one here takes a Phillips screw, and then there's a pop-up right in here that also needs to come out to remove this cover to make it easier to put the harness. Okay, so now that we've got this cover off, you will have to drill 2 holes here and put the ribbed zap straps in. Fold this part over. When you do it, measure it up to here. It gives it the perfect length for going underneath the seat. We zap strap here, ran it through here, came out under here, came up through here, and then into there. So now I'll take off this air cleaner screw in here and show you how the harness hooks together. Okay, this harness here, so if you can see, so this harness wire is from the rear. It comes with the 2 plugs. The one on the right comes up, goes into the main off of the front heated handle grips. The one on the left actually came out of that white plug way down in the bottom. That's just an accessory or auxiliary, so it was plugged into there. You pull it out of there, put it into the other plug out of the harness that you had to buy. And the one from the harness plugs back into there for an auxiliary, if that makes sense. So you can see down there where the two from the harness, the one on the right goes into this one here for the heated grips in the front. And then these ones are pretty self-explanatory. Orange and white will go to the thumb. The two red and whites go to the grips. And then this one here, it's not capped. I still got to pick up a cap. It didn't come with one. But it'll end up being an auxiliary or an accessory if you wanted light bars or whatever. Plug it into there. Same as the one down there in the little white plug. That one is an accessory you could use for other stuff. And that's pretty much the install. So I'm going to throw this back together and I'll show you a little more. The other thing too is on 2021, 2022 models, they don't come with one of these plugs already mounted underneath. Some quads do, or some years do. These particular ones don't. That's why you need this separate harness right here. So other ones have these. You just plug and play and away you go. This will end up being an auxiliary and that'll end up being plugged in. But this model doesn't come with them. Neither does the 2022 version. Thank you. Okay, so now that we're all back together, a couple things I'll point out. The plug-in sits right back in here. I'm not sure if you can see it there. It sits right there. It doesn't rub or wear a hole in the seat. There's a steel arch in here from the seat, so it's not a problem. These are also 3-point. Heats up here, this one, and this one. This back one does not heat up. Same on both sides. So you have your high, you have your on, your off helmet or heated vest. Over here, make sure that you leave enough room with your zap strap for the throttle so it doesn't pull. This side, this has to be trimmed. There's lined grooves on the inside of this that tell you where to cut it. I didn't bother following those lines. I just did it myself, just slightly get working it so I didn't have it too big. Wanted to keep it nice and clean. Under this plate, there's a groove through the middle. We used a double-sided foam just to hold it into place a little because my mirror kept slipping, I guess. Every time I tried to tighten it, it would slip. Made it a little easier. Also putting these grips on, make sure the wire stays below the split line for when you put these together. I also had to sand my handlebars down pretty much to the metal because they wouldn't fit even with the paint on. These things, trying to get these out, they were actually glued right in from the factory. So I guess it was just a sloppy glue job and they ended up being glued in, so they were a pain to get off. And when you're putting in the new thumb, once this is apart, hold down on the silver spring-loaded mechanism that hooks onto the wire for the throttle. Push the new one up in and then use the new thread lock screw to hold it into place. And other than that, the front heats up really fast. Separate gauges, this will be for the thumb control and for the throttles. The throttles get really hot. So not a problem there. They heat up quick. Definitely the rears take a little bit longer, but not a big deal. And that's it for the heated grips and rear grip install. Hope you liked the video. Thanks. Subscribe and like.